And let's begin with what I would call Mount Kenya politics, where Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Sunday continued to defend himself against plans to impeach him in the wake of a fallout with a section of leaders from the Mount Kenya region. While attending a church service in Meru County, Gachagua told those planning to impeach him to respect the will of the people, saying he was elected on a joint ticket with President William Ruto. Here is our reporter Abdiaziz Hashim with the details.
Nimepita hapa, nitapita hapo Runyenjes, Chuka mpaka Meru. Niongee na watu wetu waniambie kama wanataka tukae tukiwa kitu kimoja.
A day after the country's second-in-command dead legislators were reported to have signed his impeachment motion.
Hakuna mtu mwingine anaweza nitoa kwa kazi isipokuwa nyinyi. Kweli ama uongo? Kweli ama uongo?
Continued with the onslaught on the nearing his ouster, terming the motion to remove him from office as a political witch hunt.
Tufanyie watu ya Kenya kazi kwa sababu tulichaguliwa miaka miwili peke yake. Na hatujafanya ile kazi ambayo wananchi wanatarajia tufanye. Tungetaka tuombe, tupunguze maneno mingi, zote tushikane, tufanyie wa Kenya kazi. Kwa sababu hawa Kenya walituchagua wakiwa na matumaini makubwa sana. Na hawakutuchagua tupigane, turumbane, tupanganie, tukue na maneno ambayo haifai.
Rigathi, who joined the faithfuls at the church service in Meru County, urged the country to pray for him and his boss, President William Ruto, to overcome the current turbulence within the ruling party.
Bishop, mimi sina maneno mengi, mimi nimeshukuru sana kwa maombi. Please continue praying for our country. Let us pray for our president, let us pray for the government, let us pray for our leaders. It is my hope that sanity will prevail. We tone down on politics of division, siasa ya kumalizana, siasa ya furugu.
Gachagua stated the government is yet to realize most of its goals and leaders ought to forego politics so that they can be achieved.
And as we do whatever we are doing in the political space, it is my prayer that we should always respect the will of the people. The will of the people is supreme. Elections were done. President and I were elected on the joint ticket for 5 years, and that is the will of the people. Let us not fall into the temptation of overturning the will of the people through other methods.
This comes as Gachagua alleged that his political detractors were hell-bent on kicking him out of office while given bribes to support the impeachment motion.
Siko namna hiyo, watu waheshimiwe. Ile wananchi wameamua, tuwapatie nafasi kwa sababu wao ndio wenye kuamua.
A section of National Assembly members are expected to table the impeachment motion against the Deputy President on Tuesday next week. The motion, which must be backed by 117 legislators for it to be introduced in the House, must garner the support of at least 233 MPs for it to be transmitted to the Senate.
Thank you, Abdiaziz Hashim, for that report. Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission officers have arrested John Koveti Lumula, a cleaner working for Kakamega County government, who is alleged to have accumulated unexplained wealth of over 615 million shillings. Officers from the anti-graft body raided his home and offices, where they found documentation and cash that showed he owns a top private school worth 200 million shillings run by his spouse, hotels, land, commercial buildings, and high-end vehicles. EACC spokesperson Eric Ngombe says his wealth is suspected to be as a result of proceeds from graft, as it was not commensurate to his known income.
Meet a multi-millionaire cleaner from Kakamega County. John Koveti Lumula, a Kakamega County official who has amassed unexplained wealth of over 615 million Kenyan shillings. Lumula, the head of cleaning services at the devolved unit, was arrested and recorded a statement. Sleuths from the anti-graft body raided his home and offices to unearth how he accumulated his wealth as a county officer. The multimillionaire cleaner, according to the Twali Bambarak-led body, allegedly amassed wealth that was not commensurate to his legitimate income, which EACC suspects to be proceeds of corruption. While confirming the arrest, EACC spokesperson Eric Ngumbi affirmed that Lumula's suspected illicit multi-million empire includes a top private school worth 200 million shillings run by his spouse, hotels, land, commercial buildings and high-end vehicles. Lumula is among several officials raided this week in an intensified crackdown on overnight millionaires in the government. The anti-graft body is currently focused on asset tracing and recovery of proceeds of graft.
While Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja is calling for unity among citizens in the wake of plans to introduce an impeachment motion against the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in the National Assembly. Speaking during the retirement and Thanksgiving service for SCK Nairobi Diocese Bishop Joel Waweru, Sakaja emphasized the importance of respect and collaboration among political leaders and the public, urging all Kenyans to rise above tribal divisions.
At St. Stephen's Church on Jogoo Road, a gathering of politicians and clergy came together to honor the retiring Bishop of SCK Nairobi Diocese, Right Reverend Joel Waweru. As they bid their farewell to the retiring bishop, voices of unity rang, with leaders stressing the necessity for solidarity as political tensions escalate.
Mambo ambayo yanafanyika hayapendezi mtu yeyote. Provost ananiambia ametumiwa message na mtu sahihi, akaambiwa tafadhali Provost, maambie maaskofu waombee nchi hii. Mkipewa kiti cha heshima, mtu aheshimu kiti hicho na aheshimu wale ambao wanafanya kazi nao.
As the nation braces for potential turbulence with plans to impeach the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, they called on political leaders to uphold their responsibilities and foster a climate of respect.
Tafadhali nchi yetu isiingie kwenye shimo kwa ajili ya marubano ambayo ninyi mnasema. Heshimianeni huko wenyewe, na mambo ambayo mnafanya mjue mnafanya namna gani, na mjue tunawaangalia.
Our problems are the same as a city of Nairobi. The same pain Mama Njeri feels when she can't feed a child is the same as Mama Akinyi. We want our people to remain united without tribalism in our city and our country. We are one people. There's more that unites us than divides us, and that is what we believe in. So please don't worry about the politics you're seeing going on. Hiyo ambayo inakuja bunge next week na huko kwingine, don't worry. Let the politicians settle their politics, because politics is part of us.
Governor Sakaja urged Kenyans to focus on what unites them rather than the divisions that threaten to tear the country apart.
But I want to assure you that we are going to have a united country devoid of tribal politics. No one chose where they were born, and no one chose which family they were in. No one chose which tribe. All our communities in Kenya, 43, deserve recognition and space in our country. And that is the Kenya that we want to build.
During the retirement and Thanksgiving service, Bishop Joel Waweru Mwangi, who has served the Diocese of Nairobi for 14 years, was praised as a devoted servant of God. The bishop's legacy of promoting peace and unity resonated as he heads to retirement.
The Ministry of Lands has come out to allay fears that the theft of 367 security papers has any consequence on land legitimately owned and title deeds already processed. Through a statement, the Ministry of Lands clarified that documents stolen at the government printer are the papers used for printing title deeds, and the papers can only become title deeds after they have been handed over to the Ministry of Lands, filled with ownership details, and the theft of the papers stolen from the government printer have raised concerns across the country regarding the potential misuse of fraudulent transactions. Let's get the details of that particular story.
Following the theft of 367 security papers used for printing of title deeds in the country, the Ministry of Lands has assured Kenyans of the integrity of the titling process, despite the challenges experienced. In an official statement released by the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, the government has assured the public that the stolen papers cannot be considered as title deeds until they have been processed by the ministry. According to the statement, the papers only become legal title deeds once they are filled with ownership details and sealed with official stamps and signature after verification by the Registrar of Lands. The statement by the ministry further acknowledged that corruption cartels are likely behind the theft with the intent of creating fake titles. However, the ministry assured the public that anti-fraud mechanisms are in place and the anti-corruption efforts will be intensified to prevent any fraudulent land transfers. Already, one officer from the government printer has been arrested in connection to the theft. The Ministry of Land has assured Kenyans that they are working closely with the security agencies to bring those responsible to justice.
And just to take you a little bit back to matters politics, where National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah has faulted the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for allegedly undermining and sabotaging government from within. The Kikuyu legislator who confirmed the existence of an impeachment motion against Gachagua says he has appended his signature to the motion, adding that Gachagua has stirred a rebellious front within government in pursuit of his 2027 ambitions. The planned impeachment motion, however, has attracted protracted resistance from religious leaders and elders from the Mount Kenya region, while other political players appear to support calls for the DP ouster from the office. John Jacob Curia with the details.
It appears the impeachment motion against the Deputy President is no longer a question of if but when, with Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah confirming he is among one of the legislators who has signed the motion that is headed to the National Assembly.
It is true there is an impeachment motion against the Deputy President, and as Member of Parliament for Kikuyu, I have already appended my signature to it. And I will support that impeachment motion to stop a process where government is being undermined and sabotaged from within government. Ili yale mambo tuliwaambia tutawafanyia tuweze kuyatekeleza.
According to Ichung'wah, the DP has been sabotaging government affairs and was attempting to balkanize the country.
Because I do not believe in the politics of ethnicity. I do not believe in the politics of undermining and sabotaging a government that we formed. Sababu tunaambiwa ati tukusanye kama Wakikuyu, tujiondoe kwa hii serikali, tuende tutafute Kalonzo na Wajakoya na Eugene, ati tutengeneze serikali ingine ya 2027. Na hii tulitengeneza, tuachilie, isaidie wengine.
His sentiments appeared to align with those of a section of Rift Valley legislators who faulted Gachagua for allegedly propagating tribal politics.
Deputy wetu, hata kama tunakupenda, lakini inafika wakati ambaye inakuwa ngumu sana. Maana wewe ukiimba Mount Kenya na mimi nika hapa na sina deputy mwingine, hiyo ni kunitupa mbali.
Ndio maana tukasema kwa minajili ya Kenya moja tumeweka sahihi ya kumwondoa kama impeachment na kura kule bungeni. Hata wenye walitangulia na wenye watapitisha hiyo mswada sio sisi, ni wenzake kutoka mlima.
Na hata hii rais ukikuja kutuomba, tutakuomba respectfully utuachie to deal na hii mtu ambaye ni mnafiki ya mwisho.
National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula Sunday added his voice to the debate.
Ikiwa ni mimi, nitolewe. Akiwa ni Makau, atolewe. Akiwa ni Kamene, atolewe. Ikiwa ni wewe, utolewe. Because we want peace for everybody.
This as Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka slammed the impeachment attempt, accusing the government of attempting to divert the public's attention on public affairs matters.
For the 25th of June, 2024 stands out as a very important milestone when the youth of this country, the Gen Zs, literally liberated their country. And therefore, we have to build on those gains. Anything else can only be diversionary.
And as debate rages on, Mbeere North MP Geoffrey Ruku hit out at the Deputy President over what he termed as generalization of development issues at the expense of a marginalized Mbeere community.
Huku hakuna majani chai, huku hakuna maziwa, huku hakuna kahawa, huku hakuna avocado, huku hakuna makadamia. Hiyo vitu yote hakuna, na ndio tunahimiza serikali ya William Ruto tujenge barabara, tujenge hospitali, tulete maji ya kulima.
This as a section of clergy in Meru opposed the proposed impeachment motion calling for a political ceasefire.
And many people think that this is the government of the church. Yes, we supported His Excellency the President together with his deputy, and we voted for them overwhelmingly. And we want to reinstate that it is good for them to work together and finish their term.
John Jacob Curia, Sunday Express.
Thank you, JJ Curia, for that report. Let's look at matters health, where a 12-year-old need of funds to undergo a life-saving kidney transplant after he was diagnosed with an end-stage renal failure. The family of Jeremy Mbao, who has been undergoing dialysis for 4 months, say they have depleted the family resources and cannot afford to raise the 5 million shillings required for the life-saving surgery. They're now pleading with well-wishers to come to their rescue to give him a shot at life. We would like to warn our viewers that some of the pictures may be disturbing.
We catch up with the family of 12-year-old Jeremy Mbao at Wangige in Kiambu County. Jeremy, the firstborn in a family of 4, is lying on the couch. He has just returned from hospital after undergoing dialysis. The side effects of the dialysis are still visible. On this day, he's bleeding from the mouth.
Sometimes you go for dialysis and he can't stop breathing because of the heparin they use. Sometimes when there is something called urea, when they are very high, he also breathes. So he can either breathe out of urea being high, he can also breathe out after dialysis. So the challenge we have is now when the HB is low. When the HB is low, we have to go back to the hospital.
His mother, Mary Wamboi, narrates her struggle with his condition after doctors discovered he was born with 1 kidney at the age of 5. The discovery followed numerous hospital visits after his face began to swell. His only kidney has since been compromised.
But after several dialysis, they just discovered that his had completely failed, and that is now when we started dialysis. But they said that was just a temporary help. He just needed a kidney transplant.
Jeremy, who was in grade 7, was forced to drop out of school in June 2024. He's unable to eat and depends on supplements.
1 bottle costs 750, and he takes 2 daily. So that is 1,500. And then we also have these biscuits. It is also high in calories. It is also supposed to supplement to help him add weight. And we have the calcium because everything goes down after dialysis. You need calcium, so we use these ones.
Jeremy is in urgent need of 5 million shillings to undergo a kidney transplant, with his mother said to be the donor.
In 3 months, he has lost more than 12 kgs. So the doctor's advice is that the sooner the better, because the dialysis is really consuming him. So we consider here in our country, but the timing, in Kenya it takes a lot of time or a longer time for you to be able to have a transplant. Yes, so that is why we prefer abroad, because it might not take that long, because according to the doctor, we don't have all that long.
His parents are currently unemployed and unable to raise the funds.
It is not easy, but we believe that we can do it and we will do it. And Kenyans are generous. So my appeal is anyone who can offer anything, please kindly help us save Jeremy's life. because the only way to save his life is through a transplant.
To assist little Jeremy have a shot at life, you can donate funds to the family through M-Pesa paybill number 5159219, account number, enter your name. I repeat, M-Pesa paybill number 5159219, account number, your name.